Alright, so today I am going to do a 2020 presidential election prediction video if it was Bernie Sanders versus Donald Trump. Alright, so in my opinion, the Democratic Party is currently setting up Trump for re-election. They are deeply unpopular. There really is no motivation at all to vote for the Democrats at this point. They're alienating pretty much everyone, and especially with the 2016 election, it was just absolutely abysmal. And in my opinion, the only one who has a chance of winning the 2020 election against Donald Trump at this point is Bernie Sanders. Alright, the reasons I'm making this video is, number one, I study state voting trends. With the type of videos I make, I know what counties and what areas, congressional districts, typically go for Republicans and Democrats. I know what states are going more Republican every election and what states are getting more Democratic. And also because I correctly predicted, it's not 100% correct, but I did predict last election that Trump would win. So, yeah. And as for 2012, I did predict that Obama was going to win as well. But then again, that was a lot more obvious. So, yeah. So, my prediction, sorry, I'm really sick. It's something to do with being in the Army. You know, you get sick this time of year. Been through a lot of hell this week. Haven't had time to make these videos. So, it's going to be Bernie Sanders 358 to Donald Trump's 180. Again, it's not a landslide. Definitely not a landslide, but definitely a sizable victory for the Democrats. As you can see, it's not really anything surprising if you study voting trends or how things have been going. You have the Northeast, which is Democratic. You have the, mid-states, which are Democratic. Florida, Pacific states. The big stories here are going to be definitely Arizona, which I'll talk about why I think is going to go Democratic. North Carolina, it's up in the air. Really, I'm undecided on that state. And definitely why these states are going to flip back to the Democrats. If you don't pay attention to, any of the news or the economy or politics in general, you will not know why these states are going back to the Democrats. But anyway, I made a pretty detailed map of the counties of how it's going to look. It's going to be very similar to 2008. Now, the reasons why Bernie Sanders is going to win, number one, is definitely Trump's unpopularity. Let's face it, Trump is not a popular president at all. The most unpopular president in history, despite getting elected. And you have him going up against the most popular politician in America at the moment. So logic would say the most liked politician going against the most disliked politician. The most liked politician is most likely to win, obviously. And remember, Trump didn't win by that much. He won by 100,000 votes in Wisconsin and Michigan and Pennsylvania combined. So that says a lot about, Trump. Another reason I think Bernie Sanders is going to win is he appeals more to white voters, which is a demographic that Hillary Clinton could not win, because Hillary Clinton only appeals to urban areas, not even really anyone, to be honest. The only people who really passionately vote for Hillary Clinton are people who have no idea about politics, stupid college students, and I'm being serious because I do study this stuff, and honestly, idiots. I'm going to be completely honest. And yeah, Bernie Sanders kind of appeals to more of that working demographic of people. The reason I'm saying this is because we have evidence from the Democratic primary. If I could pull that up real quick. Let's see, Democratic primary, if I can, there's a link on here. Yeah, this is going to be a pretty sloppy video, but just got to get the point across. Alright. So, as we can see by this map, the more rural states like Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, North Dakota went for Bernie Sanders. And we know those states have very, very little minorities. Another thing is Wisconsin, Michigan. These are states that Hillary Clinton did not win in the primary or the presidential election. And Bernie Sanders won Wisconsin by a landslide margin, as he also won Minnesota by a landslide margin. 61% in Minnesota. Wisconsin, it was 56%. Michigan, it was closer, like 49%. But then again, he's like a nobody politician. He appeals more to that white demographic, that white working class demographic. That's one thing he got criticized for in the primaries, that he attracts too many white voters. However, America is a white majority country. Without the white vote, it is much harder to win a presidential election. Now, on the contrary, I don't think he's going to be as strong with minorities, but he's going to make up for that hugely with white voters. All right. Another thing is, like, he will be able to do slightly better in rural areas. He's gone on, he's visited West Virginia many times. He's visited rural areas many times. And I think the Democrats will be able to salvage that a little bit if they do have Bernie Sanders run. Now, people don't know how just how horrible Hillary Clinton did in these rural areas. The biggest example is the state of Minnesota. If I can pull it up right here. So we see with Minnesota is the biggest example of just how poorly the Democrats are doing with white voters. So we see with 2016, like, wow, that is, she's won the Twin Cities. She won this area barely, but just take a look at, like, the previous elections, 1988. This is what Minnesota typically looks like in an election. Like Moore County, a Democratic stronghold. All these rural areas. It really started with Obama, because he would lose all these rural areas, because Democrats are too focused on urban areas, younger voters, which don't even make up, and they make up, I think, 20% of the vote share. Democrats need to stop focusing on college kids, people who don't work. I'm not saying that to sound arrogant, but it is the truth, because they only make up 20% of the vote share. The working class is the main majority of the vote, because young people don't vote. So why is Hillary Clinton trying to appeal to voters a group of people that won't even vote? So as you see, these areas are highly Democratic, and as you see here, this will be definitely salvaged. Okay. It will be very similar to 2008, where you have a Republican Party that is just very deeply unpopular, and you have the Democrats saying that we are going to change this for the better. All right. So I'll give you a little tour around my county map. Okay. So we're going to start with the Northeast, which will be reliably Democrat. We have Maine. We have this one county here, which usually always goes Republican anyway. This place Bernie Sanders will have on lockdown, because neighboring states, it matters where you're from for elections. So basically, New Hampshire won't even be a swing state for this election. All right, as we go down here, go over here to this area, the area that won Trump the election, it will go back to the Democrats. The reason being is Trump is not creating jobs. He is not. I don't know what the Republicans are trying to do, but they're just speeding up the next potential economic crash. All right. So with the broken promises, the facts are Obama created more jobs in his last year in office than Trump created in his first year in office. That is fact. That's not disputable. It happened. So with these broken promises and jobs still getting shipped out, and with Trump lying, these states will go back to the Democrats. Okay. I do not know what is going on. That Windows 7 is acting kind of weird. All right, so Iowa, very rural farming state, it will go back to the Democrats. I think Bernie Sanders will win some counties in West Virginia. That's just because of his popularity. He definitely will not win the state. Yeah. As we go over here, California is getting more Democratic every single election. That's just because people from California, it's minorities, and plus people are stupid just because... I'm just kidding. It's just because of the Reagan-Mondale type of thing, because Reagan's from California. If California could be this Democratic in 1984, oh yeah. But anyway. And, yeah, I'll explain why I think Arizona is going to go Democratic. The thing is, last election is pretty clear what states are becoming more Democratic and which states are becoming more Republican. So we really only have 3 states that are becoming more and more Democratic every single election. And these states are becoming more Republican. I wouldn't even really count Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Iowa in this because those are swing states. But as you see, these Midwest, these highly rural states were becoming more Republican. So, made a little sloppy PowerPoint, I guess, to explain in detail why I think these states are going to go for a certain candidate. I'm only going to focus on the really important states. So, Arizona. Why do I think Arizona is going to go Democratic? The reason being, number one, is Trump's abysmal performance in the state. Trump only carried the state by, it was 49%, if I can pull that up. So we click on Arizona right here, and as we see, he only got 49% of the vote, whereas Hillary Clinton is improving on Obama's performance. That right there shows that if you have a strong Democratic candidate against a weak Republican candidate, it can happen. Another thing is, I guess there's the increase of Spanish voters, and even like values change in states. Every once in a while, like people's values change. In my opinion, it will probably be the closest state if this were to happen. Anyway, California, Midwest will go. Michigan, as you see with Trump's broken promises, will be very similar to 2008, where they just voted Democrat out of protest for Donald Trump. Remember, Trump barely carried these states at all. It was by like 1 percentage point against Hillary Clinton, And because of that, it will more than likely go Democrat again. Minnesota will vote the way it typically does again. We won't have any, this area will go highly Democratic. Moore County will be Democratic again. The rural areas, Minnesota will be back to the way it normally is. Montana, when the Republican is unpopular, Montana becomes competitive. Obama almost carried the state. Clinton carried the state. Dukakis almost carried the state. Montana will be close, although I do think Trump will win because of the growing divide between rural and urban voters. I think he can close it up just enough to be somewhat competitive. Nevada, I think Nevada is getting more Democratic. This was Trump's chance to win. 2016 was the chance to win that state. And honestly, I think it's shifting away from its bellwether status, and I think it's permanently going to be lost to Republicans. New Hampshire, it's I can't talk. I'm just tired from this week. New Hampshire, it's neighboring Vermont, easily going to go Democratic this time. It's not even going to be a swing state because Bernie Sanders is super popular there. No one cares about New Jersey. New Mexico is getting more Democratic every single election. New York, as you see, New York will be... Here's one thing that I found shocking in the 2016 election. Like, you look at New York, and I just saw this map, and I was like, that is bad. Look at that. Look how red that is. Compared to just look at that. 2012, 2016. I know Trump is from New York, but that is, yeah. So since the areas bordering Vermont will definitely go Democratic again. Trump is unpopular, and he's only getting more unpopular every single day anyway. So yeah. Oklahoma, I doubt. I don't even think Bernie Sanders would be able to win a county there. It would take a miracle to even win one county in Oklahoma. Pennsylvania, I think it only went to Trump by like 70,000 votes, something like that. Again, I think with a popular candidate like Bernie Sanders, it can go Democratic. So then you have, sorry about that. So you have Texas, which is actually, I think Trump will improve on his performance in Texas slightly. Because, let's just type in Texas here. Trump did pretty terrible in Texas, I'm not going to lie. Oh my God, you kidding? All right, I'm going to scroll down there. All right, so Texas, he only got 52% of the vote. But that's really because of third parties, and I doubt people in Texas are going to want to vote for the Vermont Socialist or Vermont Liberal or whatever. So I think Trump will slightly improve. And, third parties are pretty much going to be non-existent in this election. Let's face it. It was just only because really Hillary Clinton is just so unpopular. All right, Vermont's definitely going to be the most Democratic state. They gave Bernie Sanders 5% of the vote in the election, which was pretty funny. West Virginia, this is a pretty ballsy prediction, I'm going to admit. Because chances are he will not do as good as I'm thinking he's going to do there. He may not even win a county there. But I'm thinking... I'm pretty sure he'll win at least one county in West Virginia. I'm pretty sure. But I wouldn't be shocked if he didn't win any counties. Because West Virginia is just... I think it would take a miracle for a Democrat to win West Virginia. Trump is definitely going to carry the state. It's probably going to be a landslide in West Virginia again for Trump. But anyway. Wisconsin, you see that. Basically a repeat of 2008 right there. People can be like, oh my God, that's crazy. But really... It's gone more blue before. And Wyoming is always going to go Republican. All right, so the key things I want you guys to remember for this prediction. Why Bernie Sanders is going to win. White voters. He appeals to the working class. Trump's unpopularity, Sanders' popularity. And there could even be an economic crash in like the next year. We just don't even know. But the way things are going... Republicans are speeding up a crash. Let's face it. And honestly, don't believe what you see on the internet. The internet is full of extremists, regular people. Trump has such a high disapproval rating. Let's search it today. This is, Trump approval rating. Where are we at? Oh, we are at 52% disapprove, I predict that, he's not going to beat his popular vote total from 2016. That's pretty obvious in itself, okay? I'm predicting that Trump will only get around like 43 or 44% of the vote, all right? Because, with all those broken promises... and just everything that's happened, there's Honestly, if it's Bernie Sanders, there's nothing he could do to win. Absolutely nothing. But then again, this is only hypothetical. There's a high chance that Bernie Sanders is not even going to run. But if he does, this video, I don't know, to be honest. But anyway, this has been my prediction. Hopefully he runs, because if he doesn't run, we're guaranteed 8 years of Trump. Yep. Anyway, more videos coming soon.